Okay, this video is 5.2 dividing polynomials. There are going to be three methods that we're going to look at. The first two are ones that you have to be able to do. I prefer long division. I will show the box method for these examples. After I do this video, I will not be doing the box method again, but if you do have questions, it is used primarily by Mrs. Rodriguez, so you may ask her questions. And then last but not least, if you can use synthetic, we'll use synthetic. So longhand division, the way it works out is just like we normally do. You have long division. You put this divisor in the equation, or on the outside, so you have x plus 2. And then you have x squared minus 6x minus 20. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide x into each part, and if there's a remainder, we're going to have a remainder. And also by doing this, we're going to make sure that if we have any holes, meaning like a missing exponent, we put a 0 in front of that because it needs to be accounted for. So what times x gets you x squared? X times x gets you x squared, so I'm going to put that answer over the x's. So the x lines up with the x, okay? So always what times the outside gets you the inside. So the next part I'm going to do is I take the x times x, and I get x squared, and x times 2 get plus 2. Now, longhand division, you always do repeated subtraction. It's kind of like hang 7, but we're not going to do hang 7. And then I'm going to write down what my new value is. I'm going to do that in pencil each time so we have that. So the first terms better cancel out. X squared minus x squared is 0. X squared. Negative 6 minus 2. X. Because I totally forgot my x there. Apologize. Because x times 2 is 2x. So negative 6 minus 2x is a negative 8x. And then you bring this next number down, minus 20. So once again, I'm going to ask myself, what times x gets me negative 8x? Okay? So the number times x that gets me negative 8x is negative 8. Okay? This answer is a numerical number, so it goes over the numerical. And then I'm going to rinse and repeat. I'm going to multiply. So negative 8 times x is negative 8x. These should be exactly the same. Negative 8 times 2 is a negative 16, and we're going to subtract. So minus a minus becomes a plus, so negative 20 plus 16 is a negative 4. Now, x can't go into negative 4, so this is my remainder. So what we do is we take it, whatever sign it is, put here. So if it's a negative, put a minus. If it's a plus, put a plus. And then take the number there and put it on top of your divisor. So my final answer, I'm going to write this out here in black, is x minus 8 minus 4 divided by x plus 2. You can write it as x minus 8 plus negative 4 divided by x plus 2, but I really do not like the double negatives. Either answer would be sufficient. So the next method we have is called the box method. Here's the directions. Essentially, you have to draw a bunch of boxes to account for everything. If you have to the fourth, you need to have a fourth, third, second, first number, and then in case you have anything extra. So right now I'm going with boxes of 6 by 2s because I'm going to divide by a 2. So my divisor is a and 2. It goes here. And then this first term of 4a to the fourth goes here. So every time I do this, I have to do something for the next terms, and I have to account for holes. Holes, the way that holes work is if you have exponents that jump, so 4, it jumps to 3, that has to be counted for as a 0. And that also gets written up above. And then 2, 1, and no exponents, so I need to count for this. The way that this works out is I'm going to write my answers on top in black, and then each part is going to be a new color, so those sums have to add to what is here. So what times a gets me 4a to the fourth? 4a cubed. Okay? So this box here is going to be my green box. This diagonal must add to be 0. 4 times 2 is 8, a cubed. So what plus 8a cubed must get me 0. A negative 8a cubed. So if I add these two terms together, they would get 0a cubed. So what times a gets me negative 8a cubed? Negative 8a squared. So the next color choice I'm going to have is orange. So negative 8a squared times 2 is a negative 16a squared. What times negative 6, what added to negative 16 gets me a positive 2? So these two must add to equal 2. That would be an 18a squared. A times what gets me 18a squared? 18a. Let's see, I've done green, pink, let's go purple. So this would be 18a times 2, which is 36a. What plus 36a gets me a 4a, a negative 32a. So a times negative 32 gets me negative 32a. Negative 32 times 2 is a negative 64. Trying to figure out what color I want to use. Blue. Since this is not 0, I have a remainder, and this is my remainder. So my answer would be minus 64 over a plus 2. And everything on top would be my answer. Now, I get the method. I understand the method. It's taken me 3 years to understand it 100%, be comfortable with it. I just don't like using it. I rather use my longhand division. So this is in the book for work. This, you're going to have to watch a few times, and if I need to, I can work a few problems out. It just takes me a little bit longer to do it. So the last part of today's lesson is about synthetic division. Synthetic division you may only use when your divisor is with the a value of 1. So your binomial that you are dividing by is by an a value of 1. So if there's a number in front of the x, the a, whatever variable we have here, then you are not allowed to use synthetic division. So to start, this answer here is when you take x minus 4, or your divisor, and set it equal to 0. So this is 4. It's opposite what is in here. Now what we do is we take the coefficients all the way through. So I have a cubed, so this is 2, minus 13. So 3, 2, 1, 0. So I don't have any holes. If I had a hole, I'd have to put a 0 there. And if you don't do that, you'll be wrong. So then I have 26 and then minus 24. Okay? So this process is a very awesome process, but once again, make sure whatever you do, you only can do it if your a of your divisor is 1. You bring down the first one. 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Add these two together. You are always adding as you go down. So negative 13 plus 8 is negative 5. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Add this, you get 6. 6 and 4 times each other gives me 24, which gives me 0. Since this is 0, I have no remainder. My answer is going to be this part. Now, when you divide, I go from 4 parts, a cube, squared, 1, down to 0, down to a 2, 1, and 0. You always decrease your final answer by 1 exponent. So my answer would be 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. And that's your final answer. So on this first one, you have a monomial. Know this, that if you have a negative symbol, that also means to divide by AB. And what you're going to do is you're going to take each part and you're going to divide it by AB. So rewriting it, 3a squared b minus 6ab plus 5ab squared. And I'm going to take each one of these divided by AB. And then all you're going to do is simplify. So 3 stays on top. There are more a's on top. There's nothing on the bottom, so it's 3a over 1 technically. Minus 6. Everything cancels out, so I'm going to just leave it as minus 6. And here, I'm going to have my a's cancel out. I have a b and a b squared, so I'm going to have plus 5b over 1. And then if I rewrite this, 3a minus 6 plus 5b. That's it. You're done. And you don't have to rewrite in a different order. Just leave your order as is. All right, so on this next one, we're going to do with longhand division. Just double checking what I got here. So I'm going to take x plus 1 divided into 2a squared minus 4a minus 8. And I look at this and I double check I don't have any holes, so it goes 2, 1, 0 for exponents. This is an x, this is an a, so I'm going to make this an a, so that's easier. Didn't catch that again. I've known about that for a few years and I keep forgetting about it. So, a, what times a gets me 2a squared? 2. 2 times a is 2a squared. These should match. 2 times 1, 2a. Pomeroy, 2a. I think I wrote that down wrong before. No, I didn't. 2a. Try that again. 2a times 1 is plus 2a minus. First ones will cancel out. Negative 4 minus 2 is a negative 6a. Minus 8. Always bring this down. What times a gets you negative 6a? Minus 6, minus 6a, minus 6, minus negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2. That number is not 0, so I have a remainder. So I'm going to bring my remainder up here to be minus 2 over a plus 1. This part here is your answer. All right, so the next part. So I said you only can do synthetic only on C and D. So I'm going to do those last. What I'm going to do here on E is I'm going to do longhand division again. I think I will do the box method on F. I'll do the box method on F. So, to start, I can't divide anything out, so I'm going to go 3a minus 2. It goes by 2, 1, 0, so 18a squared plus 6a plus 9. What times 3a gets you 18a squared? 6a. 6a times 3a is 18a squared minus 12a minus, cancels out, 6 minus a minus 12 gives me an 18a. Bring down my 9. 3 times what gets me 18? That's plus 6 again. 6 times 3a is 18a. Minus 12. Minus, cancels out, 9 minus a minus 12 is 21. So this is plus 21 over 3a minus 2. And that's your final answer. So on F, I'm going to do his box method, but first what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all of these and I'm going to see what can I simplify out. So on this, I'm going to pull a 3 out on the bottom, y minus 2. And on the top, I'm going to pull a 3 out. So that gives me 9y squared plus 9y minus 10. These cancel out. Okay? So all I'm doing is simplifying my problem beforehand to make it a little bit prettier. So, 9y squared, so I'm going to do 9y squared in this first box. And I don't know how many boxes I need, and that's one of the things that bugs me about this method. It's just not a set number rule. Y negative 2. What times y gets me 9y squared? 9y, so that gives me this. This gives me negative 18y. So these two must add up to equal that number. So that would be a 27y, because that's a positive 9. So I need a 27y here. So this would be 27. 27 times what gives me negative 2, so that's negative 54. So my answer would be 9y plus 27 minus 54 over y minus 2. I'm going to double check that one longhand division. Y minus 2, 9y squared minus plus 9y minus 10. So this gives me 9y squared, negative 18y, minus 27y plus 27. This is looking promising. Like I said, I'm just learning about this, so 27y minus 54. No, something's not right. Because that's not the right answer for your 50. I think I did the box method wrong. Minus. Because this becomes minus 10. Negative 10 minus 54 becomes 44. So, that makes sense. Okay, so that should be 54. This is why I don't like this method. I like it, but I'm not getting it yet. So that's positive 44. Because when I combine those, that gets me negative 10. So then that's my remainder. Ha ha. So this should be a plus 44. So I apologize. I'm going to go back to the video for a second. These two numbers need to add up to be 12. So 12 minus, this would be 76. So my remainder is 76. You can't see what I'm doing. I apologize. So these two numbers need to add up to be 12, and then this number is my remainder. So this would be plus 76. So I apologize about that. I like longhand division. Alright, so my last video here is going to be synthetic. I'm going to do one of these, and I'm going to do the second one. I'm going to do D, because that is the harder of the two. So, in the box, you put a 2. Because it's opposite, you solve this to equal 0. Y would equal 2. And then any number that you have, so I have a 5, so that has a coefficient of 1. I have no 4. I have no 3. I have a 2, which is negative 3. I have no 1, and then I have a minus 20. So I have to account for all those holes that I have. So, bring down the first number, 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Add those, 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Add those. 4 times 2 is 8. Add that, that's 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Add that, 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 0. Remainder of 0. So I started with the 5th, so this would be y to the 4th. So y to the 4th plus 2y cubed plus 4y squared plus 5y plus 10. And that's your final answer. So just really quick, once again, negative exponent means division, because you could rewrite it as a single fraction like that. And I'm going to leave that one to either you do by synthetic or division, and we will check that one in class at some point. So I'll either have the answers up or loaded up. Have a wonderful day.